Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Heart Coach. I got a question for you and I want you to be real with yourself for just a minute. Have you ever been in a relationship where you gave your all, your love, your time, your heart, only to feel like it still wasn't enough to make him stay? You cooked his meals, you listened to his struggles, you believed in his potential even when he didn't believe in himself. And somehow he still pulled away, still grew distant, still walked out of your life like you never mattered. And in the quiet moments you sat there wondering, what else could I have done? Sis, I see you, I hear you. And most of all, I understand you, but here's the truth most people won't tell you. You don't keep a man by giving him everything. You keep a man by being everything God called you to be. Not for him, not to impress, but for you, because keeping a man ain't about performing. It's about positioning. This video, this one's different. We're not doing fairy tales, we're doing real talk. Because you deserve a love that feels safe, stable, and sacred, and it starts with understanding what makes a man want to stay, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Let's unpack the real truth together. You know, a lot of women have been taught how to get a man, but very few have been taught how to keep one. And I don't mean keeping a man who's broken, abusive, or immature. I'm talking about the kind of man who's got vision, character, a heart that's ready to grow with you, build with you, and love you for real. That kind of man doesn't stay because of what you do for him. He stays because of who you are around him. See, the first truth we gotta sit with is this. You don't keep a man by chasing him. When a man feels chased, he starts running. And it's not because you're not worthy. It's because men were never designed to respond to pressure. They respond to presence. And when your presence is calm, confident, and rooted in self-respect, he feels it. He may not say it, but he feels it in his bones. He feels safe, he feels led, he feels inspired. So ask yourself, what energy are you giving off in the relationship? Are you constantly trying to prove yourself? Are you walking on eggshells trying not to upset him? Are you shrinking just to make him feel bigger? Because if so, you're not in love. You're in survival mode, and you can't build a lasting relationship from that place. Let's talk about something deep here, value. A man is wired to protect, to provide, to pursue, but only for something he sees value in. And I know it's hard to hear, but you can't convince a man to value you. You can't beg your way into being seen as a queen. Your value has to be felt before it's explained. That means showing up in the relationship already whole, already confident, already grounded in who you are. Now, that doesn't mean you're perfect. No one is. But it means you're not using the relationship as a mirror to find your identity. You already know who you are before he even steps in the room. When a man sees that, it shifts the entire dynamic. You stop being an option. You start becoming the standard, and that's where a man begins to make real decisions. That's when he starts looking at you differently, not as someone he can have fun with, but as someone he could build a future with. Let's pause here and break it down even further. Emotional availability. That's one of the most powerful things that keep a man truly connected. A lot of women focus on physical affection, acts of service, or loyalty, thinking that's enough. And while those things matter, they're surface, level without emotional safety underneath. If a man doesn't feel like he can open up around you, if he feels judged when he shares his flaws, if he sees you reacting instead of listening, he'll start closing off little by little. And once a man closes off emotionally, he may still be physically present, but his heart is gone. So ask yourself, Do you listen to him, not just with your ears, but with your spirit? Do you give him room to feel without trying to fix him or shame him? Can he be vulnerable without being punished for it later? Because the truth is, a man who can be emotionally safe around you will see you as irreplaceable. That kind of emotional connection is rare. It's sacred, and it's what keeps a good man coming home, not just to your body, but to your soul. I know some of y'all are wondering, but what if I'm doing all that and he still pulls away? And I hear you. That's real. Sometimes the issue isn't you. It's that he's still fighting battles within himself. But here's what you can't do. You can't let his confusion create your insecurity. If a man can't see your worth, that's his blindness, not your lack. And if you keep trying to hold onto a man who isn't ready, you'll start dimming your light just to match his shadow. And sis, that's not your calling. The best way to keep a man is not to twist yourself into a version of what you think he wants. It's to rise into the fullness of who God designed you to be. And that woman, the one who's emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, and mentally secure, she doesn't chase love. She attracts it. She doesn't beg for attention. She commands it without saying a word. Now listen closely. Keeping a man also means knowing the difference between his needs and your peace. Just because he's a good man doesn't mean he's your man. And just because he's choosing you today doesn't mean he knows how to keep choosing you every day. That's why your standard has to be consistent, not loud, not pushy, but clear, because the right man won't be intimidated by your standard. He'll be inspired by it. He'll rise to meet it, and if he can't, he'll move aside, and you know what? That's okay too. Let me say something to your heart right now. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong man sometimes. But when the right man shows up, he won't need a script to love you. He'll know, he'll feel it, and he'll stay, not because you convinced him, but because you challenged him to be his best, and he rose to the occasion. That's where real love lives, in the space where respect, peace, and purpose meet. Now that we're here, let's go a little deeper. See, love isn't just about chemistry, connection, or compatibility. Those things get you started, but they don't sustain a relationship. What sustains a relationship is consistency, and I don't mean perfection. I mean being intentional. Showing up with the same energy you had when you were falling in love, even when life gets real. So many people think love is a feeling, but the truth is it's a choice. A daily decision to invest, to communicate, to forgive, to keep learning each other, even after the butterflies fade. That's what keeps a man, not just the good days, but how you handle the hard ones together. And let me be honest with you, a man watches how you move in the moments that don't benefit you. He watches how you treat him when he's struggling, when he's not winning, when he's not on his A game. That's when he's studying your heart, because it's easy to love somebody when everything's going smooth. But when he's quiet, confused, or even pulling back a little, how do you respond? Do you attack? Do you assume? Do you shut down, or do you lean in with compassion, even when your feelings are hurt? See, one thing about a good man, he won't always say it, but he feels deeply. He internalizes things, and if he feels like the relationship is a constant battlefield, where he can't even breathe without being misunderstood, he'll start to detach to protect his peace, not because he doesn't care, but because men have been taught to hide when they hurt. That's why a woman with emotional maturity is a gift. A woman who can say, I feel hurt right now, but I'm still here for us. I want to understand, not just react. Will keep a man locked in emotionally. That's rare, and let me tell you something. When a man experiences rare, he doesn't treat it casual. Now, I know some of y'all are saying, but what about my needs? I don't want to baby no man. And you're right. You shouldn't have to mother a grown man, but there's a big difference between mothering and maturing. Being a soft space for your man to land doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise, because when a man feels safe in your presence, he becomes more, not less. He wants to pour back into you. He wants to match your energy, but he has to feel like he can come to you as he is, not as you want him to be. So let me ask you, when was the last time you asked your man, "How are you?" really, and not just out of habit, but with the intention to listen? When was the last time you told him, "I appreciate what you do. I see your effort. I know it's not easy." You'd be amazed how far appreciation goes, not fake flattery, not manipulation, just genuine acknowledgement. A man who feels seen becomes a man who wants to stay. But here's another truth. It's not just about what you give to a man emotionally, it's about what you give to yourself. A woman who knows how to love herself sets the rhythm for the relationship. She's not waiting on him to validate her. She's not abandoning herself just to keep him happy. She's grounded, and that's what magnetizes a man. Not the chase, not the drama, but the peace of knowing he's with a woman who doesn't need him to complete her, just to complement her. Ladies, the best way to keep a man is to become the kind of woman who keeps herself. When you hold your standards without apology, when you know your worth without performing, when you radiate peace without controlling everything around you, that energy is magnetic. Let me be real. A lot of women lose themselves trying to hold on to a man. You compromise your values, your vision, your voice. And somewhere along the way, you look in the mirror and don't recognize who you've become. You were once full of dreams. Now you're full of fear. You were once passionate. Now you're passive. All because you were trying to be easy to love. But here's the truth. Being easy to love doesn't mean being less of yourself. It means being more of your authentic self, with love, with boundaries, with grace. A man who's meant for you won't require you to sacrifice your soul just to earn a seat in his life. He'll want your wholeness. He'll need your fire. He'll respect your no as much as he enjoys your yes. So if you're wondering how to keep a man, start by keeping your peace. Keep your joy, keep your voice. Keep your values, because the right man will feel that energy and rise to meet it. And I want to say something to the woman watching this who's been carrying silent pain. You gave so much of yourself in the past, and it still didn't work out. And now you're scared that maybe you'll never get it right. But hear me, you didn't fail, you learned, you grew, and every heartbreak taught you a deeper lesson about yourself. Now it's time to apply it, to love smarter, to expect better, to believe again, not just in love, but in your ability to receive it. Because when you stop fighting for men who don't see you, you make space for the one who will. You ever notice how peace feels different after you've been through chaos? That's what a mature relationship is supposed to feel like: peaceful, not perfect, not without disagreements, but rooted in calm, rooted in clarity, rooted in care. And when you give a man the gift of peace, not by silencing your needs, but by standing in your confidence, he feels it in his spirit. Now let's talk about something most people skip over: femininity, not in a performative way, not being soft just to keep a man's attention, but in a grounded, graceful, powerful way that reminds him what real love feels like. Femininity is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's emotional intelligence. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to challenge and when to cover. When to lead through presence, not pressure. A feminine woman doesn't compete with her man, she complements him. Not by becoming small, but by becoming stable. She doesn't throw her emotions around recklessly. She owns them, processes them, expresses them with purpose. And let me be clear, when a man finds a woman who knows how to manage her emotions with strength and softness, he feels like he can finally breathe. Because the world expects him to be hard all the time, to carry weight, to fight battles. But when he comes home to a woman who brings peace instead of pressure, who inspires instead of interrogates, that's when his heart opens, that's when he commits without fear, that's when he says, "This is my person." But sis, you can't be that woman if you're constantly living in reaction mode. If you're letting old wounds from the past control your new love, if every disagreement feels like abandonment, if every quiet moment feels like rejection, you've got to heal, because unhealed wounds sabotage stable love. And I say that with love, not judgment. We've all been through something, but healing is your responsibility, not so you can be perfect, but so you can be present. So you're not bringing trauma into a table that was built for trust. And let me talk to the woman who's been independent for so long that vulnerability feels foreign. I get it. You've had to survive. You've had to protect yourself. Maybe you were let down before. Maybe the men in your past made promises and broke every one of them. Maybe you've convinced yourself you don't need a man, and you're okay either way. And listen, there's power in that mindset. But don't let independence become isolation. Don't let strength become a wall that keeps love out. Because a man doesn't stay just because you're strong. He stays because you're safe to love. Safe doesn't mean predictable. It means emotionally trustworthy. It means you won't punish him for being human. You won't weaponize his truth. You won't turn connection into control. Let's talk real here. You don't keep a man by constantly testing him, by playing games to see if he still wants you, by pulling away just to see if he'll chase. That's not love. That's fear in disguise. That's unhealed pain looking for reassurance. And a man with emotional maturity will walk away from that, not because he's weak, but because he's done playing roles in someone else's trauma script. So how do you keep a man? You love him honestly, but you love yourself first. You support him with faith, but you don't lose your voice in the process. You stay soft, but you remain strong in your values. You grow with him, but you don't shrink just to make him comfortable. Because the truth is, the best relationships are not built on fantasy. They're built on alignment. That means both people are doing the work. Both people are communicating. Both people are choosing each other, not out of obligation, but out of overflow. And that's the kind of love that lasts, the kind of love that doesn't just survive storms. It grows through them. Because both people are anchored. Let me share something from the heart. If you have to constantly keep a man with effort that feels exhausting, it's not love. It's fear. Real love doesn't exhaust you. It expands you. It calls out the best in you. And yes, it takes work, but not work that drains you. Work that develops you. You'll know it's real when you feel safe and seen, when you don't have to keep proving yourself. When your love doesn't feel like a performance, but a partnership, when you both have room to be human, to mess up, to grow, to rise again together. So if you're watching this right now, feeling unsure, questioning your worth because someone couldn't love you right, I want you to pause, breathe, and remember this: your worth is not measured by who chooses you. It's measured by how you love yourself in the absence of validation. It's measured by how you keep your peace even when others don't see your value. The best way to keep a man is to keep you first. Because when you honor your spirit, your values, your voice, you teach every man you encounter how to love you by how you love yourself. And trust me, the right man won't need to be convinced. He'll feel it, he'll respect it, and he'll thank God that you didn't settle before he found you. Let me leave you with something I learned the hard way. You don't have to break yourself to be loved properly. If a man only wants you when you're bending, dimming, or hiding who you are, he was never your man. He was just passing through, and I say that not to harden you, but to free you, because the right love will never ask you to betray yourself. The right love will make you more you, not less. Now I want you to really take a moment and think about this. Have you ever actually seen a woman who glows, even when she's alone? You know that type of woman. She walks in peace. She speaks with clarity. She knows what she brings to the table, and she's not begging anyone to sit at it. That's the woman who keeps a man not because she's trying to, but because she's being consistent. Being loving, being rooted. She doesn't have to argue her value. She lives it. She doesn't have to chase. She chooses, and that choice, that's where the power lies. When a man knows that you choose him, not because you need him to complete you, but because you want to build something with him, that's when he starts showing up differently. That's when he invests. That's when he sees you not as a moment, but as a mission. And let me say this with love, every man you meet will not be able to handle the version of you that's healed. Some will fall for the version of you that's broken because they benefit from your doubt. They like when you don't know your worth. They get power from your confusion. But when you rise, when you finally see yourself, don't be surprised if they back away. Because light exposes shadows, and you were never meant to be in darkness forever. So if you're asking how to keep a man, here's your real answer. Keep your peace. Keep your growth. Keep your voice. And the man who's aligned with your journey will not only stay, he'll evolve with you. He'll protect what you're building. He'll prioritize your heart. He'll match your consistency, your care, and your commitment. Not because you begged for it, but because you embodied it. You lead him through how you carry yourself. You inspire him through how you treat yourself. And that kind of energy, it's unforgettable. Now I know someone out there is feeling discouraged. You've tried, you've given your all, you've cried in the dark, wondering if love was meant for everyone except you. But I want to remind you, God never forgot about you. He's been building something inside of you, even in the quiet seasons, even in the heartbreak, even in the disappointment, because every time you were rejected, you were being redirected. Every time a man walked away, you were being protected. You're not behind. You're not too old. You're not too broken. You're becoming, and when you become that woman who's deeply in love with herself, not in arrogance, but in awareness, you will naturally attract a man who's done playing games. A man who sees the spiritual assignment in loving you. A man who understands that to keep you, he must also keep growing. That's the partnership we're aiming for. Not a man who comes to complete you, but a man who comes prepared to grow with you. To water what you've already planted, to protect the peace you've already built. So hear me now, stop giving discounts to people who were never meant to afford you in the first place. Stop pouring your love into cups that refuse to hold anything but their own emptiness. You are not a rehab center for emotionally unavailable men. You are not a placeholder for someone's confusion. You are a woman becoming more powerful, more loving, more clear, every single day. And the man who's meant to walk with you, he won't hesitate, he won't confuse you, he won't make you question your worth. He'll show up, grow up, and stay, because keeping a man doesn't start with strategy, it starts with standard. It starts with showing yourself the kind of love you've been begging someone else to give you. It starts with becoming the version of you that no longer fears being alone, because you've learned to enjoy your own company. And from that place, when love finds you, it will not feel like survival, it will feel like home. So if this message spoke to you, I want you to do something right now. Drop a comment below and tell me what you're taking from this, what part of your heart needed to hear this. What shift are you ready to make? And if you know another woman who needs this word, send it to her. Be the sister that reminds her she's not crazy, she's not too much, she's not alone. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because over here, we're not just talking about relationships. We're talking about healing, about growth, about love that elevates, not erases. So stay with me, because your best love story hasn't even been written yet. It starts with you, it starts today, and I believe in you.